Imagine sentencing a man to jail, only to find yourself locked up with him just hours later. That's exactly what happened to Judge Ernest Capers, a well-respected black judge known for his tough but fair rulings. After delivering a sentence to a man named Darnell Parker for a minor offense, Judge Capers found himself on the wrong side of the bars due to an unexpected turn of events. The night started like any other, but a shocking series of events led the judge to experience the very system he upheld, this time from the inside. With emotions running high and tensions rising, the two men were forced to confront their roles in the justice system in a way neither had ever imagined. What happened next changed both their lives forever. Stay tuned because this unbelievable twist will leave you Judge Ernest Capers had spent years handing down sentences, believing in the power of justice to correct wrongs. But as the cold metal bars locked behind him, a chilling realization hit. Tonight, he wasn't the one in control. Across the dimly lit cell, Darnell Parker sat on the bench, arms crossed, eyes filled with something between confusion and amusement. The same man Judge Capers had sentenced just hours ago was now his cellmate. Neither spoke at first. The tension was thick, the irony unmistakable. Darnell smirked, shaking his head. "Didn't think I'd be seeing you here, Judge." Capers exhaled, still processing how a routine evening had spiraled into this nightmare. An unexpected mix-up, a clerical error, or maybe something deeper. He wasn't sure yet. But one thing was certain, this wasn't just a mistake. And as the hours passed, the night was only getting stranger, shining everything you thought you knew about justice and redemption. Judge Capers sat in silence, his mind racing. How did this happen? He had always trusted the system, but now that he was inside it, everything felt different. The fluorescent lights flickered above, casting sharp shadows on the concrete walls. Darnell leaned back, watching him closely. "So what'd they get you for?" Darnell finally asked, his voice laced with curiosity. Capers hesitated. He wasn't sure how much to say. The truth was embarrassing, a simple paperwork error, a miscommunication that landed him here for the night. But the longer he sat in the cell, the more he realized something unsettling. If a judge could end up here so easily, what about the people he sentenced? Darnell chuckled. "Crazy, huh?" Tables turned real quick. Capers met his gaze. For the first time, he wasn't just looking at a defendant. He was looking at a man with a story he needed to hear. The air in the cell felt heavier with each passing minute. Judge Capers, usually the one controlling the fate of others, was now stuck in the same system he had always believed was fair. But sitting across from Darnell, he couldn't ignore the questions creeping into his mind. How many others had been caught up in mistakes like this? How many had spent nights in jail over something they didn't deserve? Darnell stretched his arms and smirked. "Funny thing about this place," he said, "it don't care who you are. Judge, criminal, don't matter. Once that door locks, we all the same." Capers felt a knot in his stomach. He had thought of himself as separate from the people he sentenced, but now, for the first time, he felt what it meant to lose control. Then suddenly, the cell door buzzed. Footsteps approached. Something was about to change, but for better or worse, Capers had no idea. The footsteps grew louder, each step echoing through the hallway. Judge Capers straightened, expecting a guard to finally fix the mistake and let him out. But when the cell door slid open, it wasn't an officer standing there. Instead, a man in a suit, stern-faced, unreadable, stepped inside and shut the door behind him. Darnell raised an eyebrow. This normal for judges? Judge Capers walked out of the cell, but something inside him had changed. The system he had upheld for years suddenly felt different, colder, more fragile. As he stepped into the processing area, he saw a group of officers whispering, exchanging uneasy glances. Whatever had happened that night wasn't just a simple mistake. Someone had wanted to send him a message. Before leaving, he turned back one last time. Darnell watched him from the cell, arms crossed, a faint smirk on his face. "Guess I'll be seeing you around, Judge," he said. Capers nodded, knowing this wasn't the last time their paths would cross. Walking out of the jail, he inhaled the cool night air, but the weight on his chest remained. He had spent years judging others. Now, for the first time, he was questioning the very system he thought he understood. Capers felt his pulse quicken. The man's presence wasn't reassuring. "Judge Capers," the man said, his voice low. "Looks like your situation just got complicated." Capers frowned. "What are you talking about? This is a clerical error." The man shook his head. "Maybe. Maybe not." He glanced at Darnell before leaning in. "Someone doesn't want you out just yet." Capers felt the room tilt. This wasn't just a mistake. Someone had made sure he stayed locked up. But why? And more importantly, who? Judge Capers felt a chill run down his spine. Someone wanted him to stay locked up. But who? And why? He clenched his fists, his usual confidence shaken. "This is a mistake," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I have rights." The man in the suit smirked. "Funny. That's what a lot of people say before they realize the system doesn't always work the way they think." Darnell let out a dry laugh. "Welcome to my world, Judge." Before Capers could respond, another set of footsteps echoed outside. This time, a different guard appeared, eyes darting nervously. "You're coming with me," he muttered, unlocking the door. As Capers stepped out, he glanced back at Darnell, who gave him a knowing nod. Something had shifted inside him. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a wake-up call. But just as he thought it was over, the guard whispered, "This goes deeper than you think." "Watch your back."